All right, I took my trip to Milwaukee, so y'all seeing me a lot more up close and personal than normal. So I'm waiting on some food. It's cold, man. It's one. You see, that's why I need my little thing. It's 1 degree out. So I'm gonna have to edit that. So I had to go to Milwaukee, you know, deal with some in-law issues and stuff like that, and went down there. And so my experience, let me tell you the experience I had going down, because I decided to take the train. I man. I took the Amtrak down. So on our way, we had an Uber driver, Somalian person. He's just volunteering this regular information. First thing he starts talking about is evolution, and living in certain conditions makes your skin a certain color and stuff like that. And, you know, he mentioned something about the Caucasus Mountains and all that. He just openly gets randomly. So this Somali dude that picks us up, this guy, he's just going off on a tangent. He's talking about Noah and all this kind of stuff. And he said he's a Cushite. And so he's basically saying, I've never lived in Somalia. I've never lived in Somalia, the Somalian man tells me. I said, where you from? He said, Kenya. He said, well, I've been here for 4 years in the U.S. I said, oh, so they didn't get to show y'all them TVs telling them to stay away from us. He said, well, a lot of Somalis, they don't want to admit they black. He said, we come from a different lineage, but we black people, they don't want to admit it. So he's just going on. He said, you know, we're rude, we're aggressive, and we're barbaric people. If we're around each other, we'll fight. But if we go against y'all or we go against any other people, you know, so he's just saying random stuff, just running it. And so I asked him a question. I said, man, you know, is there a lot of black folks that go up to Kenya? He said there's a lot of foundationals that go up to Kenya. I don't know if that's true, but that's what he told me. He said, we adopt y'all's style, we adopt your culture, everything. You know, we may not want to act like we want to give credit to it, but man, we know that y'all are the blueprint. You know, so he's telling me all these different kind of things. He said that there is a lot of, so, you know, he said the old folks, he said they dying off. He said that old way of thinking is starting to die off. So he's telling me this. And so, I'm just kind of just listening. I said, well, where do you think that comes from? Where you say the aggressiveness and the rudeness and all that? He's like, man, we drink camel milk. We're genetically barbaric people, he's telling me. I said, damn. He said, we drink camel milk, or we drink goat milk, and I think that's the reason for the, you know, so he might have had a little bit of that little bell curve stuff going on or something. I don't know, but he's telling his culture. He's not two-waying about it. He's letting it be known. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was like, well, 4 years. I'm trying to put the math together. If you've been here 4 years, what did they tell you about us? And so, you know, he didn't really get in that too much. But, you know, so I thought that was very interesting. Got down to Milwaukee. You know what there is? Indians, Arabs, Black Americans, and that's it. I seen one Somali guy that dropped us all back at the depot when we left. They don't have a bunch of Somalis down there. The Arabs got it. And the Somali dude that initially brought us to the depot downtown to St. Paul, he was like, man, you know, they lump us in with the Arabs because of some of our history with them. But he said, man, I don't really care for them. He said, a lot of them are racist. This man's telling me this. So I'm just listening. So you got to think, this is several different immigrants that's driving me around. I didn't see not one freedman. Not one. Not one Black American was driving in an Uber or whatever. It was an Arab. It was a Croatian from Russia. He's telling me about Russia and all that kind of stuff. We talking about Russia. He's from Croatia or East Europe somewhere. So, and he got an accent. And then an Arab dude picks us up. You know what I'm saying? So we took like 4 or 5 Ubers the whole entire time we were there. The last Uber that we got, you know what I'm saying, was a Somali dude, surprisingly. He looked Somali. Tall, cool brother. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first Somali, but it ain't a whole bunch of them down there. It's not. But it's something. It's something. So I get to talking to my father-in-law about the Cadillacs, cocaine, and white women.
Hard work and housing discrimination. Nearly every African American lived in a section of the North Side known as Bronzeville. but there they developed all the earmarks of a genuine community. Walnut Street became Bronzeville's downtown. During the Jazz Age, some of the best music in Milwaukee was heard in the nightclubs on Walnut. Old institutions prospered, especially churches. St. Mark AME and Calvary Baptist.
He broke it down. He said in Milwaukee, he said, I think the 40s or the 50s or some of the 60s, you could be fresh out of high school and get a job $19, $20 an hour. I said, that's a lot of damn money back then. He said, man, it was lovely. He said there was over 150,000 jobs back during those times. I said, what happened? He said, the plants. He said that we was partying and it was integration. So I wasn't lying about that Cadillac, cocaine, and white woman. I wasn't just saying that. He said we was partying and we were able to get white women and we just partied and we squandered it all. That's what he told me. I said, what? When did it start? He said around 75, you had the bastard baby generation, where black women worked and coincided with the government to agree to get the black man out the home. That was in 75. 75, he said, to the 80s, that's when it gets kind of ripped us apart. He said, but when they closed those plants, that decimated Milwaukee. He said Milwaukee was a great place for blacks to live. And so I got footage now, okay? I got backing where I could show y'all pictures, and I got footage because I just happened to be at the hotel. They had this real nice hotel. And if y'all hit in the comments and ask what kind of hotel it was, I'll tell y'all which one y'all might want to consider when you go down there. Let me tell you what the style, the culture of Milwaukee. They're not like the passive aggressive whites here. That is the most segregated city in America, damn.
This is straight old school. Straight old school.
Here. Blacks stay over here. Fond du Lac. What they say? It's not Cardinal. Capitol. North Avenue.
What it do, man? It's your boy Steve, the Stoner Nigga, and welcome to my side. You hear me? This Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Please do not think that these niggas dancing. That's just only me, man. I'm the only motherfucker.
Come on
but
now.
It's a lot of shit going on. Motherfucker, you'll die here.
Yeah.
Actually, at this gas station, this Tatonia North Avenue. You ask anybody here, man, look how cars ain't even getting gas. Look, take a look. They're not even getting gas.
Shit. Doing shit.
We're going to catch y'all Saturday. I just wanted to let y'all know what's going on in Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? We're going to see y'all soon, man. Don't be scared to come down here, man. You might get your shit took.
What I've been told, get in and get out. Don't even go over to North Avenue or all them places. Matter of fact, there was a documentary about a zip code where the highest incarceration of black men is in Milwaukee, in that zip code.
3206. It's the zip code with the most incarcerated citizens in the country, and it's right here in Milwaukee.
There has been more people that have been incarcerated out of this area.
Tonight, a documentary on the zip code had its world premiere at Milwaukee's Oriental Theater. 53206 is bounded by I-43 on the east, 27th Street on the west, and North Avenue on the south, and Capitol Drive to the north. The documentary notes 62% of adult males living there have spent time in a state correctional facility. We caught up with viewers after tonight's premiere.
It really showed that there's still hope amongst youth in the community. And I feel as if we come together, we can actually make a change. It is a lot of depression. It's a lot of things going on. It's a lot of struggles that we're going through as a people. And I feel like this movie can really draw awareness to that situation.
The filmmaker held a question and answer session with.
In the United States of America, I'm talking about. Over all the zip codes. So they just locking niggas up just for locking them up. And then if you ever look it up, they can still abide by that, what they call an old law. Look that up too, Milwaukee old law. There was a section where I talked about Milwaukee in my second book. I thought that was a very interesting subject. I had to kind of dive in. And what happened to black folks down there? You know what I'm saying? So, during the Great Migration, you're going to kind of see that. it gets seen like it gets pretty much the trenches. You know, the Milwaukee gets the entire trenches. It gets seen like it gets you going down Fond du Lac. I mean, the whole shit gets look old.
It's not the same. It's got lots of varieties. The only catch when you go to the Japanese restaurant, all you can eat sushi, you have to eat everything you order, because you're not going to pick it up. They're gonna bring you, and sometimes they will bring you like 8 pieces of the sushi, and you can always share with others, right?
Yeah.
And it's very nice to go with more people, because then you can have more varieties.
Oh,
right.
okay.
And then I thought that I want, when I go with my wife, it's good, but it's only 2 of us. We can't like do lots of different things, right? Because we cannot eat that much.
Yeah.
But when my parents was here, we took, and it was like
the world just kind of left it behind 40 years. A lot of the buildings downtown are 200 years. Let me tell y'all about the downtown in Milwaukee. They code of conduct is strong. They don't let all that lame shit going on in Minneapolis, shootouts every weekend and all. They don't allow that down there. They is not playing no games with niggas down there. They not. Now, out of town blacks, I'm hearing the treatment's a little better. But if you a local black, they really don't want you downtown like that. They don't want you down there. They just don't. They don't rock with you. It's not like up here where, a lot of white people will smile and that passive aggressive. No, they ain't doing none of that. They not friendly like that. They not friendly like that. They ain't trying to be your friend. They don't want you at your house. They don't want you screwing their daughter. None of that. It is a segregated, and you could see it. You could see it. It's economically segregated. It's racially segregated. It's very segregated. You know your place right away. It's not the most welcoming place. I mean, they were hospitable, but this is business. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, they ain't, so they just, the Uber drivers, you learn a lot. I'm gonna tell you three things when you hit a new city. 3 things you need to know. 3 people that's gonna know what's going on: janitor, driver, dope fiend. Janitor, driver, and a dope fiend. They gonna know everything that goes on in that city. So I just thought that was very interesting, man, on how, and then there was an ad I saw down at the depot. It said 150,000 people are in like, not hunger strike, but they're in a hunger situation. Poverty, hunger, Now think about that 150,000 jobs that my father-in-law told me. He said there was 150,000 jobs in the city of Milwaukee when he was coming up. So I thought that was very interesting too. So I just noticed a lot of things, and I think I'll make another video on that, but I think I'm gonna just cut this up, have me a little drink, get some food, and I think I'm gonna upload this tonight. So I can't think of anything else, otherwise I'll put it on. Alright, so this is, I don't know where this is. Okay, so you go up, it must be the district.
Turn right on North Broadway.
Milwaukee Bar Association. I'm looking for the law.
In a quarter-mile, turn right on East St. Paul Avenue.
Oh, that's the Planet Fitness over there. Yeah, still got a TJ Maxx over there.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we got them no more. There might be one over there by what's it? Battle Creek, Sunray. But they called it something different. I don't know if they still got it.
And you can see like how old the buildings.
Yeah, they do look old. And they look like they can remodel a lot of these joints too. I wanted to get more of the city of light, but I just didn't want to have, my camera all up in people's. I know you ain't supposed to do that, so they be like, oh, they be like, he a tourist. They get him. So I grabbed what I could. I want to get more, but I said, I grabbed what I could, and it gets look miles and miles. Fond du Lac is all.
In a quarter-mile, turn left on
What are you
North
talking about
5th
when
Street.
you go to the city?
Yeah, it gets, like I said, it looked like a lot of stuff was open, but it was like closed. But we ain't too far from the depot. Not too far. I mean, you probably could walk if it was warm, but yeah, you probably see a little ways. Coles.
Turn left on North 5th Street.
I think they closed all our Coles. Yeah, I don't think we got none either.
Drop off New Kia.
So I tried these new gloves on Amazon. They decent. They got the little cheap polyester fleece. The last time I was down here in Milwaukee, I was visiting in-laws, came down here with my wife. We took a bus. Here's the thing about Milwaukee. Milwaukee, they don't consider it like a major city. I'm gonna do a real detail. I'm gonna put all of this in here and talk about the little bit of time that I spent down here this weekend and my experience. Now, a lot of times what some people might do is they don't want to pay what it costs to fly into Milwaukee. It costs a lot. It's a small airplane. They charge you, they tax you. But more than anything, what they want to do is they want to hit you over the head. So some people, what they'll do is they'll fly into Chicago. You know what I'm saying? They'll fly into Chicago, and then they'll drive down, because a lot of black folks, man, they got family in Chicago and they got family in Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put some documentary footage on here and everything too. But more than anything, like I said, I came down here in 2016. I took the train down this time, and then they had some weird interconnect where it's cheaper, and so we're just on a bus. I would much rather have took the train on the way back, but I didn't understand how it works. So, as you can see, the city's real old looking, old buildings. It's beautiful to me. Actually, downtown Milwaukee rivals downtown Minneapolis in terms of how they handle stuff. They don't let them have shootouts down here all the time or whatever. They lock it down. They're not playing no games with these folks down here. They don't allow you to just lame around and harass people on a regular basis. They gonna get you up out of here. Now, I don't think it's as stringent as Boston was when I went down there, but you can see the highway. There's a clear segregated divider. When you look at racism, white supremacy at its finest, there is a clear, distinct racial segregation and separation of economic, socioeconomic, social-political power in the city of Milwaukee. I'm trying to tell you. I was talking to my father-in-law. He was breaking it down on what the civil rights generation did and how they engineered to economically castrate black folk in the city of Milwaukee. And these are facts. This ain't up for debate. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to show y'all those facts too. But I just want y'all to kind of see this, what the bus depot look like. You got the Greyhound and everything. So, I'm gonna go back inside. I got another hour.